So good morning student. So today we are going to start this new topic that is called fluid mechanics. So in fluid mechanics, basically if you understand from semester point of view, so from fluid mechanics around 50 to 60 marks you will get as a numerical, because it is a numerical based topic. And as far as civil engineering branch is concerned, so from hydraulic machine part you will get only 20 to 30 marks. Okay, so this is from hydraulic machines. So as a civil engineer you just more concentrate on fluid mechanics, and fluid mechanics is basically it is classification of three topic if you ask me. So first one is called, this is fluid statics. This is the first one. If you go to any book you will find this topic. This fluid mechanics has been classified separately into three basic category. Then after we will study the fluid static, then we will study about the motion of the fluid particle without considering the forces. That is called fluid kinematics. Then after considering the effect, we are not considering the cause part, means whatever the forces are responsible for the motion of the fluid particle, that we are not considering in fluid kinematics. But later on in fluid dynamics, we are actually considering the cause part, means here we are dealing with the forces. Okay, what are the forces? If you talk about the river flow, basically the river is flowing on the basis of gravitational force, and basically three forces if you talk about fluid mechanics, that is pressure force, then gravitational force and viscous force. Okay, other forces are also there if you talk about turbulent force, surface tension, but these are the major force if you talk about the fluid mechanics. So same way this fluid mechanics classified to these following topics. First we will study about the properties of the fluid. The properties of the fluid means we will study about the density, mass density, the weight density, then specific volume, then viscosity, surface tension. All these properties we are going to look into in detail in these properties of the fluid chapter. Then we will study about the fluid static. Then we will study about the fluid static. In fluid static we will consider the fluid to be in absolutely rest condition. Okay, so in fluid static we will talk about the Pascal's law. Okay, so after the fluid static we will deal with the fluid kinematics part. So in fluid kinematics we will consider, I already told you that I will consider the effect part, but there we will not considering the forces. Then we will talk about the buoyancy and metacentric height. Buoyancy, obviously it is related to the fluid static part. If the fluid will be in absolutely rest condition and if a body will be submerged in that fluid, then there will be some buoyancy force will be introduced by the fluid onto the body, and that fluid must be in a rest condition. Then we will talk about the fluid dynamics. In fluid dynamics we will consider what are the forces are there. Basically we will consider pressure force, gravitational force, viscous force. So now we will understand first topic, this is fluid mechanics. So as you can see here, this fluid mechanics is basically it is a mixture of two terms. That is, first one is called fluid, second one is called mechanics. So first let's understand about the what do you mean by fluid. So fluid is a substance. Substance means which can have a definite shape, size, and it can have some weight. So a substance which can flow continuously, under the action of the shear force and or tangential force. So under the action of the shear force or that is called tangential force. and the magnitude of the shear force and tangential force, it however it may be small. So this magnitude will be very small. So the magnitude of the shear stress, shear force or tangential force be very small in magnitude. So fluid is a substance which can flow continuously under the action of the shear force or tangential force. However, the magnitude will be very small. Okay, so first of all we can understand this word, flow continuously. So flow continuously mean first substance will be how many? There will be solid, liquid, and there will be gases. So do you think this solid can flow continuously? I don't think so. So this solid substance which cannot flow continuously under the action of shear force. How? Later on I will tell you. But if you talk about these two, liquid and gases, these two substances can flow continuously under the action of the shear force and tangential force. So if you talk about the fluid, then I can tell fluid will be, these two substances is called as fluid. Means liquid and gases is called as, is come under the category of the fluid. So we can, if you talk about the liquid, then we can separately talk about the liquid. If you talk separately about the gas, then we can talk about this separately regarding the gases. Now let me make you clear why we cannot call solid as a fluid. So if you take a solid mass having definite shape and size, and if you apply a very small shear stress, if you apply shear force and the cross sectional or tangential area if you take, then that will be equal to shear force upon the shear area. So if you apply a shear stress, then you tell me what will happen to this body. The body will be disturbed, the body will be deformed, because this we are talking about the solid, this is we are talking about the solid. So if you talk about this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D, and if you apply a shear stress, definitely there will be shear stress will be generated at the bottom. This is according to Newton's third law. And to balance this shear stress, because it is now rotating in clockwise direction, there will be two complementary shear stress will be generated. So these are called complementary shear stress. Okay, so this is the net diagram. Now what will happen? The body will distort. The body will distort means the body will have some deformation. So the B point will come to B dash and C point come to D dash. Now you can see there will be small angular deformation will there. Okay, that is called as shear strain. So for a specific shear stress, this specific shear stress will be generated. Means we can tell here this angular deformation, we can talk about the phi. This angular deformation is directly proportional to the applied shear stress. Okay. Means if you increase the shear stress, then the angular deformation, or we can, that is called angular strain, the angular deformation or shear strain, that will also increases. So if you remove this proportionality constant, then this tau will be equal to G into phi. So this G is called as modulus of rigidity. This G is called as modulus of rigidity. This is property of a material. So basically I want to tell you this strain, this is called shear strain. That is called shear strain. Thus this shear strain is directly proportional to a particular shear stress. This is called Hooke's law of elasticity. That is called Hooke's law of elasticity. It means what? If the solid body will be inelastic in nature, if you remove this shear stress, then the body will regain its original shape and size as long as the body will be under elastic load condition. Now let's understand about the fluid, or you can say liquid. So let's understand about the liquid. Suppose there will be liquid will be there. This is the boundary or bed, and this is the liquid, and I am taking a specific control volume. I will tell you later on what is control volume. In solid mechanics we do not consider any control volume, but as in case of fluid, that fluid volume is continuously changing, so we are taking a particular fixed volume, and within that fixed volume we are actually considering each and every process, and we are analyzing that part only. Later on I will tell you. Suppose this fixed reference point, and this is O and this is A. This point is O and this point is A. Now you apply a shear stress. Now you apply a tangential force or shear stress. Then what will happen? This point will not remain constant. It will change continuously with respect to time. So first of all, under the was this A point come to A1, then it will change to A2, and then it will change to A3. And do you think it will remain fixed? No, it will continuously change with respect to time, because I already told you fluid is continuously flow. Okay, so here this angular deformation is constant for a particular shear stress, but here this angular deformation is not constant, it is changing with respect to time. So that's why we can write, if this is theta, if you take this is theta angular deformation or angular strain, then this theta we can write that is d. This is changing with respect to time, means d theta by dt, because time rate parameter will come here, and this is directly proportional to now shear stress. So now here we are writing this shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. Here we are writing tau is directly proportional to d theta by dt, because it is now changing with respect to time. This is called Newton's law of viscosity. Newton's law of viscosity. So I think you can now clearly distinguish in between solid and fluid. Here actually we are writing tau is directly proportional to d theta by dt, and here we are writing tau is directly proportional to phi. If you remove this tau, this angular deformation will remove and the solid will regain its original shape and size, but it is not valid in the case of fluid. Okay, fluid will not regain its shape and size. Okay, and later on I will tell you this d theta by dt is very small in magnitude, so we cannot measure this d theta by dt. So another parameter we are actually finding out in the place of d theta by dt, that is called velocity gradient. Later on in viscosity chapter, property of the fluid, I will explain that velocity gradient. So I hope now it is clear in between the difference between solid and fluid, but as per our topic is concerned, we are going to look into this fluid mechanics in detail. There is separate chapter, a separate topic will be there, that is under solid mechanics, or that is called strength of material, that will be you will be going to read in your next semester. So thank you. And then next, today we are going to start this property of the fluid. So today we are going to start the property of the fluid. So every fluid has, or every body person has some different properties. Like fluid has some certain amount of properties. Okay. So first property is called, that is called as mass density, or that is called density. That is called density. Okay, or that is called specific mass. That is denoted by rho. Okay, so it is very easy, you know from your plus 2, density will be equal to, that is mass of the fluid per this is unit volume, or here in the class of fluid we are writing in small, that is m by v. So what is this unit? Now we will take the unit. Unit will be obviously that is kg per meter cube in mks and cgs in gram per cc, that is gram per cc. Now if you talk about the fundamental dimension, so fundamental dimension, so what is this one? We can write down this one as m1 and this is L minus 3. Okay, now already we are talking about the fluid. So I already told you fluid is two types. First one is called liquid and second one is called gases. Liquid, we know, we are actually daily life, we are having some liquid is water. So density of the water, if you talk, and that is at 4 degrees Celsius, that is at 4 degrees Celsius, that is generally 1000 kg per meter cube. Similarly, if you talk about the gases, gases at 20 degrees Celsius, that is 1.2 kg per meter cube. So from these 2 points, what we can clear, that obviously density of the liquid is greater than the density of the gases. Density of the liquid is greater than the density of the gases. Now we will understand what is the effect of pressure and temperature on the density of the fluid. Effect of temperature and pressure. So now you tell me, if you talk about the liquid, liquid means water, standard fluid, and if you talk about the gases, that is standard fluid, you take this is air. Now if you increase the pressure, then obviously the density of the liquid and or fluid, better we can say fluid, both liquid and gases will increases. How increases? Let's understand this point. Suppose I am taking a piston, okay, and this is the piston, and suppose the initial pressure will be P1. I already told you, in the case of fluid we always take a fixed volume. Suppose they are taking there is a fixed volume. In this fixed volume there will be definite fluid molecules will be there, definite fluid molecules will be there. Now if you increase the pressure P12 plus some small amount pressure, you are increasing P1 plus dP, okay, dP. So what will happen? Now in this fixed volume larger number of molecules will come, okay. Now in this fixed volume more number of molecules will come. If the number of molecules increases, definitely, if the number of molecules increases, definitely mass of the fluid or mass of the molecules in this fixed volume will increases in a fixed volume. So what I told you, density will be equal to mass by volume. So in a fixed volume, if the number of molecules is increasing, means the mass increasing, then obviously the density will increases if you increase the pressure. So that is valid in the case of fluid. Now look, let's understand about temperature. If the temperature will increases, definitely what will happen? Then there will the more molecules will goes apart. Okay, the molecules not be that much in this fixed volume. The molecules will be gone separately to separate positions. So what will happen? The number of molecules now in a fixed volume decreases. As the number of molecules in the fixed volume decreases, definitely the mass will decreases, and as a result of what will happen, the temperature decreases, density will be decreases. Okay, but I will actually here I am telling you, in the case of liquid, the density is not that much changed significantly with change in pressure and temperature. Okay, this is the ideal case. But in the case of gases, what will happen? if you change the temperature and pressure, the density will change significantly. So here in the case of liquid, I can write down the density is not function of pressure and temperature, because we are taking the density to be remain constant in the case of liquid. But in the case of gases, what will happen? It is a function of pressure and temperature. Means if you change the pressure and temperature, there you can see significant change in density. But here there is no that much significant change in density will not be there. So that is effect of temperature and pressure. Next property of the fluid, that is called mass density. We talk like that. It is weight density. That is called weight density. Or that is another name is called specific weight. That is called specific weight. And that is represented by gamma. That is represented by gamma. So like mass density, we are writing mass per unit volume. So specific density we can write that is weight per unit volume of the fluid. So that is W by this is V. So this W by W we can write down, that is mass into G divided by this is V, and this mass into V you can write this density into G. So specific weight will be equal to rho into G. So what should be its unit? Unit will be equal to, this is a weight, this is Newton, and this is volume meter cube. Okay, so if you write down MKS, this is Newton per meter cube, and that is dyne per cc, centimeter cube. What is the fundamental dimension? Fundamental dimension. So that is force will be M1 L1 T minus 2, M1 L1 T minus 2, and divided by this is L to the power Q. So that is M1 L minus 2, that is T minus 2. Okay, this is the fundamental dimension. Now if you talk about the water, I already told you, water you are considering a standard fluid in liquid, and air you are considering standard fluid in gases. So what is the weight density of the water? So that is density of the water, that is 1000 kg per meter cube into, that is 9.81 G value meter per second square. So that is coming out to be 9810 Newton per meter cube. If you write down in this is 9.81 kilonewton per meter cube. So this is specific weight of the water. Similarly, you can also find out for air, other mercury, other fluid also you can identify. Always you remember three fluid density. First one is water, that is 1000 kg per meter cube, 1 gram per cc. Then this is air, that is 1.21 kg per meter cube, and the mercury, that is 13,600, this is kg per meter cube. You remember the three density standard fluid. Other you can also steel also 7850 kg per meter cube, aluminium, other also you can, if you can remember, that is good and enough. So next property of the fluid, that is called specific volume. That is represent small v. So specific volume we can write down, the specific volume will be equal to volume of the liquid or fluid per unit mass. Volume of the liquid per unit mass, or we can write down this is 1 by mass per unit volume, or we can say 1 by this is rho. Okay, so specific volume is inversely proportional to the density of the fluid. So I told you density of the liquid is greater than density of the gases. So now you tell me what will the relation for specific volume. So specific volume for the gases in greater than the specific volume of the liquid. So specific volume, you will can see this figure in the more frequently in the form of gases. You can see in mechanical engineer if you are, then in the steam table the specific volume of each and every gases will be there, because gases density will be very small in magnitude 1.21. So to increase it to numerical value, we are just reciprocating, taking the reciprocal of this density. So we can, in a mechanical engineer, in the they will go in thermodynamics, they actually more frequently they will go to the specific volume. Next property is called, that is called viscosity. So I already told you, viscosity is what? It is the property of the fluid by virtue of which it offers resistance to flow. So if the fluid has more viscosity, then it has more resistance to flow. So if it is the property of the fluid, if you write down, it is the property of the fluid which offers resistance to flow. This is very important, resistance to flow. Okay, if the fluid will be more viscosity is represented by dynamic or kinematic, so I am representing dynamic viscosity. So if the viscosity is more of a fluid, then the resistance to flow also increases. Okay, so the fluid will not flow in continuously. If you take example of water and honey, so if you drop the honey, then it will not flow continuously, or it will not flow that smoothly as compared to the water. Okay, so this is called viscosity. Now I already told you about the Newton's law of viscosity. This is tau is directly proportional to, this is d theta by dt. Tau is directly proportional to d theta by dt. So let's take a fluid, liquid. Okay, so I already told you this one is the O, this is my A. Now I am taking a fixed reference point. Suppose this A is gone to this point, A dash, and this is the location. Okay, and this is the angular deformation d theta, and this distance is called, that is dy, and this velocity at which this OA point A, the molecules or the liquid molecules which present at this point A move to this one with a velocity of du, that is moving with a velocity of du. So what is the distance travel from A to A point? What is the distance? Velocity equal to distance by time. So suppose the time taken will be dt, then the distance will be from this one will be, this is du into this is dt. Now what is tan theta? So tan theta will be equal to P by B, so that is du into dt divided by this is dy. Now this theta is very small in magnitude. Okay, so as this one is very small in magnitude, so what we can write, this tan d theta, sorry, this is tan d theta, so that is d theta, very small in magnitude. So that magnitude is very small, so we can write down this one directly, d theta. So d theta will be equal to du into dt divided by this is dy. Now d theta by dt is how much? From here d theta by dt will be equal to du by this is dy. Means I already told you d theta by dt is the rate of shear strain. This is called rate of angular deformation, or we can say it is rate of shear strain. rate of shear stress. So this rate of shear stress magnitude is very small, so that's why we are actually in the place of d theta by dt, we are actually finding out another parameter which we can measure. So that is called, this one is called as du by dy is called as velocity gradient. It is called velocity gradient. So now we are writing that tau we are writing directly proportional to this d theta by dt. So in the place of, we know that this d theta by dt will be equal to, that is du by this is dy. Okay, that d theta by dt is du by, so we can write down this tau is directly proportional to, now this is du by dy. So now if you remove the proportionality constant, then the shear stress is equal to mu into this is du by dy. So this is called as Newton's law of viscosity. So this is called as Newton's law of viscosity. Okay, where this mu is called as, dynamic viscosity. Dynamic viscosity. Now if you want find out the unit, what is the unit of the dynamic viscosity? If you mu will be equal to tau by this is du by dy. Okay, so tau we can write down, this is Newton per meter square, and this we can write down, this is meter per second, this is per meter. So we can write down, this is Newton per meter square. Okay, Newton per meter square into second. Or we can write down this one as, the viscosity unit will be equal to Newton second by meter square, or that is called Pascal second. Newton per meter square is called Pascal. And in the form of kg, if you write it down, that is Newton will be, 1 Newton will be what? Kg into meter per second square. So in the place of Newton you write down, आगे So I told you unit will be equal to, mu will be equal to tau by this is du by dy. So tau is Newton per meter square we are writing, and this is meter by second into meter. So it is Newton per meter square into second. So that is Pascal into second. If you write down in kg, so 1 Newton will be equal to 1 kg force into meter per second square. So if you write down there Newton kg into meter per second square into second by this is meter square. So 1 meter, 1 second, 1 second. So that is kg by meter into second. Okay, so if you write down in fundamental dimension, that is m1 l minus 1, that is t minus 1. Okay, sorry, this is correct. Yes, kg meter into second. Okay, So this is all about this fast today lecture. So in the coming class we will continue this lecture, and on this viscosity there will be lots of numerical will be there. So we are going to look into some of the important numerical, and I hope you like this lecture. So thank you all.